Audio testing, 1, 2, 3. Lights on, camera rolling, and action.
Welcome to the Scaling Creator Podcast, the one-stop shop that explores problems, solutions, and stories for business-minded creators. I'm Soren Dickens.
And I'm Eriksen Dickens.
We'll be talking about everything from self-discovery, storytelling, leadership, marketing, sales, operations, and finance.
If you like a healthy dose of education mixed with a generous dash of insightful entertainment, prepare for your ears to be pleasured. Oh yeah.
Make sure to check us out at scalingcreator.com and also join our free Discord community.
Scaling Creator launching in 3, 2, 1.
The following content is not intended for all listeners, but we strongly encourage all listeners to listen regardless. All right, welcome back to the Scaling Creator Podcast. I'm Soren Dickens. I'm here with Eriksen Dickens. We're here in the production van, and today we're going to be continuing the Future of Storytelling series here on the Scaling Creator Podcast. This is going to be a great short episode. We're going to be diving into the art of story extraction, why that's important, and how, as a business, you can look at your story, the past, different milestones, everything in that regard, and you can really start to database your story for your creatives, your marketing team, anyone really in any department, sales, marketing, operations, so that they can take your story and they can use your story to become well-versed spokespeople for your business. So to kick this off, we're going to move this over to the storytelling expert, Eriksen here, and we're going to talk about why it's important to first understand your narrative as a business, and then why it's also important to extract that narrative and put that into a single place where other people can find it. It's almost like creating the book or the Bible for your business.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be understated like how important storytelling really is. And I think a lot of people throughout their lives, they like stories, they watch movies, they read books, but I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful storytelling is and how it really can be leveraged as a tool for any business, right? I mean, I got my laptop pulled up right now, kind of deep diving before this episode, and there's so much research out there, so many studies that have been conducted on the power of storytelling. Just to read off a few right now, right? Like on a fundamental biological level, stories actually, when you hear a story, it releases chemicals in your brain actually. So like dopamine, oxytocin, and this aids in information retention, emotional connection, and empathy. There was a study done by the London School of Business, and they found that people retain 70% of information shared via a story compared to only 10% of information conveyed through like just statistics or facts. I read about this one study, right, where this one guy, he called this term neural coupling, and it's when the audience, their brain activity actually, it mirrors the brain activity of the storyteller because they become so engaged and they become such on the same wavelength to where their brain patterns actually mirror the storyteller. And in terms of business, I mean, that can't be understated as well. There's a lot of studies that go into the benefits of businesses using storytelling in their content, primarily video, to help engage their audience. Like there's one study done by Headstream, and if people love a brand story, they are 55% more likely to buy a product in the future and 44% more likely to share that story. You can look at an example from back in the day from eBay. When eBay was super hot, these researchers, they demonstrated the value of storytelling by auctioning off insignificant objects, like objects that, just nothing, right? Like who cares what these things are, $10, $20, whatever. It actually increased the value, the perceived value significantly of these objects because of the story behind the objects. And that's just one example that I found. I mean, it's crazy how powerful storytelling can be. So in terms of just businesses, brands starting to leverage that more, it's something that we're seeing a lot more of these days. And I think honestly, what's keeping more businesses from not doing it is either they, one, don't quite understand the power of it yet, or they don't really know how to extract the essence of their narrative and then also align it with their industry. They don't know exactly what to look for. And that's something that we've seen with companies. They obviously have their stories in their head. They know what they've done, but they don't know exactly how to piece it all together, put it out there in front of an audience and align it with their goals, right? Most businesses, their goals are going to align with their sales, their marketing, and their internal operations. And if you can leverage your story to enhance those three different main pillars of any business, you're going to have a very, very powerful way to connect with an audience and grow that brand loyalty. For us, how we've been able to help businesses identify those problems. First and foremost, you have to identify the problems that they're facing. And then from there, that's when you can really get to the drawing board and determine the right story to tell. And our storytelling formula, what we have developed, it consists of 7 core pillars, right? And these pillars are like our storytelling blueprint. And every business has these, whether they know it or not, whether they realize it or not, but it's universal across all businesses. And these are the history. So diving into the history of the business, not just like random history, right? It's certain things in their history that set them up for where they are today. So the key evolutionary moments, the light bulb moments, those type of things where you can actually trace from past to present in the modern day. This is why I'm here now based off what happened in the past. So history is really important. That's where you can really dive into the core why, the motivations for starting what you did. First and foremost, identifying that problem when you did all those years back, and then the development of the solution that your business is now. After that, the second pillar, that would be the passion. Most people really want to understand the passion that you have. If you can showcase your passion, your intrinsic value that you get out of the solution that you offer, the help that you give people, that's important to really convey. After that is a process, right? So what process do you use that differentiates you from other businesses? That's really important. What's your strategy? What's your philosophy? After that, we go into obstacles. That's the fourth pillar. Obstacles are really important, right? The challenges that you face, being vulnerable about those, and also explaining in your story how you overcame those. You know, you reach a challenge in life, a roadblock. It's really important to look back and understand, reflect how you overcame those things and came out stronger on the other side. A lot of people in general try to shy away from actually sharing those obstacles, those vulnerable moments, when we say you should lean into them. You should really lean into them and showcase them, because what that is going to do is it's going to show your audience that you've been in their shoes, you've experienced their pain, right? And now you came out on the other end. You came out a better person, and so can they. And so they'll see you as somebody who's gone through it, and now they see you as a beacon of hope, a person in an authority position. After that is successes, right? You really want to highlight the successes, the key achievements that you have accomplished. That's super important. That makes you credible, right? After that, we have impact, right? So you really want to dive into the impact that you are leaving on your customers, on your people, your operations teams, the community that you're involved in, and society in general. And after that is the future, right? Where do you want to be? What are your future goals, your future aspirations? Where do you see yourself now? And where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? That's also really important. So that's our storytelling blueprint. And by using that with businesses, we've been able to really help them craft a very coherent, concrete story. And then we plug in, all right, what can we use in the category of, say, sales, for example? What can we use in the category of marketing, for example? What can we use to recruit people? You need some top-end laser talent. All right, well, what can we use to get that done? So that's our storytelling formula. And back in the day, you know, it was really intensive, right?
Right.
A lot of time doing manual interviews, tons of interviews with people. I mean, you know, them sending us different documents, scrubbing through the documents, all doing this, you know, by our own eyes. And it was a lot. And luckily, the way technology is going right now and all the cool things that's coming our way, we've been able to streamline some of that. And that's helped us a lot and helps clients a lot too.
So yeah, in the early days, we were spending hours, if not weeks, really digging into the collateral and documentation that a client would bring to us when they would onboard for a specific project. And the thing that was really difficult as a creator is first understanding the industries in general, but then also going through the different documentation that they had, which most of the time wasn't always cohesive with other documentation.
Super scattered.
Yeah, there was always some scattered elements to what documentation that they were providing to us. You know, fast forward to present day, now with the AI tools that are out there, we're able to ingest a lot of the information about the business and then do quick searches into industry best practices, into competitors, into other industry insights, and then help us better understand the client we're working with. That's just one example of how AI has helped us. Another tool that's been really useful in this process is the use of transcription when it comes to transcribing interviews that we can do remotely over a Zoom call, and then taking that transcription and ingesting it into an AI tool that will then help us take that information and add that to this database of this client story. So an example of that would be hopping on a call with a client, and let's say we really want to understand their value proposition. In the old days, we would have to ingest that information and go back and forth, email, maybe phone calls, maybe Zooms, but now we can hop on a Zoom call, talk to the client about their value proposition, what makes their business unique. Oh, give me an example of a client success story where you were able to solve one of your guys' clients' biggest pain points using this value proposition. They explain all of that in a 30-minute Zoom call. That information then gets transcribed and uploaded into our AI tool, and then we can draw on those stories and draw on that information when we're crafting the strategy moving forward.
And just to specify, the AI tool, it can actually retain that knowledge, right? So it gets stronger, like you're feeding it, right? So it obtains that knowledge, and then put that in layman terms more, like it can like grow off that knowledge, right? It just gets stronger.
Right. So just as we learn, and as an employee learns your story, this AI tool begins to learn your story. So every time you upload a Zoom call or upload a document or upload a YouTube video, or maybe you are on the news and there's a video transcription, you upload that, and the AI tool gets smarter every time you feed it more information, so that then your content team can draw on that information to move the content needle forward in your business, which is really interesting. And if you haven't already checked out Vidar, shoot us a DM. We'll set you up with a link where you can test out Vidar. If it's something that you're interested in using in your business, we can set you up with that. Now, as we've mentioned sales, marketing, and operations over and over again on this podcast, the way Vidar works is it looks for opportunities to assist your sales, marketing, and operational initiatives by using video. So if you're trying to generate awareness for your business, you're at the top of the funnel, you're trying to get more exposure on your business, Vidar will recommend the specific types of videos that will help you do that. In just a short case here, that's going to be social videos, that's going to be top of funnel ads, so cold video ads where you're blasting ads out to an audience that is not familiar with you. Obviously, there's more strategy behind that. You might say, well, what type of social videos do I make? Or what type of cold ads do I make? Well, Vidar will look at your industry, it'll find your target audience, and it'll actually give you the scripts to do that. So
what's the familiarity level that somebody needs to be in a business with video? Like, how familiar with video do they have to be to really use Vidar? If someone wants to be a content creator in a business, how much about video and script writing do they need to know?
You don't need to know anything about the process of creating a video to use Vidar. It's best to know your business's target audience, so you can at least verify that the target audience that Vidar generates is aligned with your goals. And as long as you know your target audience, you don't need to know a lot about your target audience, because Vidar will help you find that information. But as long as you know something about your target audience, you're pretty much good to go with a couple clicks of a button.
We're seeing it. We're seeing so many different businesses now finally waking up to the importance of content creation. I mean, just the other day, Soren, you showed me that article about, was it Cisco? How having 84,000 of their employees become actual content creators, right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We, as content creators, can expect a big shift away from being contracted by businesses to being contracted by businesses to come in and work with their internal teams to help their internal teams become content creators. The reason I say that is because the cell phone is becoming a great camera, and the editing tools that were once really complicated are now on mobile apps, and some of them are even using AI technology to edit the content for you. As a creator, you're going to have to be getting really creative to stay competitive in this shifting landscape. And we hope to bring more of that information to the Scaling Creator podcast over the next couple of months. But I would say that if you haven't already, you want to deep dive into the tools that are available, and shoot us a message, follow us on Instagram. You'll see what we're doing here in season 2 of Scaling Creator podcast. But yeah, to get back on track of how you can then take the extracted story from the discovery phase when you start working with a client to then implementing that into their strategy. After we extract the story, the next thing we really what we recommend doing is taking that information and building that into your brand workbook, as we would call it. A brand workbook is usually a slide deck, PDF. It's some type of collateral that really gives you a clear snapshot of what creatives should expect working with a brand. That's going to be everything from the values of the brand, right? It's going to talk about everything regarding the products and services. It's going to be talking about who your target audience is. It's going to be talking about your brand personality. It's going to be talking about how your language sounds. And it's going to also be talking about, the do's and don'ts. It'll probably include brand fonts. It'll include colors. It'll include logos. It'll include how to talk to your clients so you know how to make them feel. All of these things are really important when you're creating content for a business, because you want to make sure that across all departments, the brand narrative is consistent. So with all that being said, if you're interested in looking at Platinum Peak's brand workbook, shoot us a DM. We'll send that over to you. This is everything that we work through on our side of things. We have one for Scaling Creator too. It's a little bit more condensed because we're not a service-based business. We're not fulfilling for our clients. So there's a lot less in our deck, but we'll send you either of those and you can take a look at them. Yeah, that's really important as a creator to understand what the brand would be expecting, whether it's your own business or a business that you're contracted by. We wanted to keep this episode quick because it is part of the Future of Storytelling series we're doing here on the Scaling Creator podcast. I do want to say in one of the future episodes here in the Future of Storytelling series, we're going to be talking about what we're seeing with businesses when it comes to hiring creators and hiring employees, and how we see a trend starting to emerge where businesses are looking for talent that are also talented at creating content. And we're starting to see opportunities for our own agency to get in and work with these businesses and turn their top performers, the people who are in the business who have, face-to-face interactions with clients. We want to turn those people into video creators because that gives the business more reach. It creates more leverage within the business. And we see the trend coming. I was on a call yesterday with Dan Fantasia. He's on one of our episodes, and he was telling me how he sees that the future of sales organizations are going to be a hybrid of salespeople who also have video creation skills. So stay tuned for the next episode here on the Scaling Creator podcast. You won't want to miss it. Check us out on Instagram. Check our website out, scalingcreator.com. You can follow myself on Instagram, follow Eriksen on Instagram. That's Soren Dickens and Eriksen W. Dickens. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Peace.